Yeah, so Clifton Strengths is a methodology that was developed by a psychologist named Dr. Donald J. Clifton almost 50 years ago. So there's been
Wow.
a lot of research that has gone into this. And I can talk about the difference between Gallup Strengths versus a lot of the other personality assessments, Myers-Briggs, Insights, Colors. But the main difference is really the amount of research that has gone into this. There have been many technical reports. They've done multiple studies to validate the validity of this framework. So on a very high level, the premise is that everybody is unique. Dee, you're unique. You have a
I agree
unique
with
set of
that.
strengths. You
I
are.
say it all the time. I mean, that we are,
Based
not
on,
just me.
based on the statistics, you are 1 in 33 million.
Oh my gosh.
Based on a strengths profile. The likelihood that somebody else has the exact same strengths as Dee in the exact same order is 1 in 33 million. And so what does that mean? That means that you're going to be motivated by different things. You're going to show up in the workplace differently. You're going to show up in your personal life differently. You're going to show up as a businesswoman, a mother, a friend differently than others. And so again, the premise is that once everybody is aware of their unique strengths, that is actually how they're going to maximize their success. That's how you're going to reach your goals, is by focusing on the things that you're good at, not the things that you're not good at. And especially in, our society today, we are so focused on our weaknesses. We are so focused on being more well-rounded, and I have to get better at something that I'm not naturally good at. But under this premise of positive psychology and strength psychology, that is wrong. So let me ask you something, Dee. What does it feel like when you write with your non-dominant hand?
It feels a little strange and a little awkward. I mean, I'm slightly odd in that I'm right-handed, but I do quite a lot of things with my left hand. And sometimes I make myself use my left hand just to use some other muscles, just to kind of, I don't know, make some little shift in myself to not get lazy. But of course, I'd never write a letter with my left hand ever. So it's
Wow.
like, it's like if you break your arm, right? And you have to use your other arm to brush your teeth in the morning or something, right? It feels weird. It feels awkward. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't flow.
Well, you are certainly of the growth mindset, but I'll repeat some of the things you said. You said it feels weird. It feels a little bit awkward. It doesn't flow. It's not natural. This is how people feel when they try to do things that they're not naturally good at. So let me ask you the opposite question. When you write with your dominant hand, what does that feel like?
Oh, it feels great. And also the thing is too, I am actually one of those rare people that likes writing, physically writing. I always have a notebook, even if I'm, on my screen or whatever. I have a notebook, I have a pen. I love paper. I love ink. I love fountain pens. All of that. There's a beauty to all of that to me, like I'll write a handwritten note. And sometimes people practically cry, send them a little note. And like, my God, the last time I got a note was like 45 years ago. Because we don't do that, There's something beautiful about that. I'm digressing slightly, but that act of writing something on a page. And I think, that's slightly coming back in. I'm seeing, a renaissance of paper and paper companies despite the trees. And I don't think it's going to harm the trees that much because so few people write, but it's a lovely thing to write, and to use the hand that I can write with. Do it properly, I guess, to answer your question.
And listen to how excited you got when you thought about writing a letter with your dominant hand. I hear excitement. It feels more natural to you. So it probably feels the opposite of weird and awkward, right? Feels
Totally.
natural.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. Everybody has a set of natural strengths that they are naturally good at. Dee is naturally good at certain things. And when you focus on those strengths, that's how you're going to achieve success. This is how you have achieved everything you have, right? This is how you have launched a business. This is how you've launched a podcast, by leveraging your strengths. Okay, so there's 4 categories of strengths. The first category is strategic thinking. So these are strengths that come alive when you're processing information and making a decision. The second category is executing strengths. This is what we call getting stuff done strengths. The third category, relationship strengths. So these strengths come alive when you're interacting with other people. How do you relate to others? How do you communicate? How do you empathize with them? And then the last category is called influencing strengths.
Right.
These are strengths that come alive when you're motivating other people to action How do you inspire people? How do you get someone else to do something? So if we're going to talk about the overachiever, achiever is one of the 34 strengths identified under the executing talents.
Right.
And so people who have the achiever strength, tell me if this reminds you of yourself. So people who have achiever, they have strong work stamina. They love to finish things. They love to check things off on their to-do list. In fact, sometimes they even make a to-do list just to cross something off. They make to-do lists on the weekend. That's what they're good at. They are good at getting things done.
Right.
That's the achiever strength. With every strength, though, there's a blank spot, an Achilles heel.
Right.
When you're overusing your achiever, what it looks like is the burnout that we talked about.
Right.
High achievers sometimes don't know how to say no. They burn the midnight oil. They'll work even though it's impacting their health and their personal life in a negative way. That's what the achiever looks like on a bad day. We call that strengths on steroids. So once you're aware that you have the strength and you're aware of this Achilles heel, you can work to actively manage it, because now you can go into the workplace and know I'm a high achiever. I know this is how I've been successful. And at the same time, I need to manage it. I need to make sure that I don't overwork. I need to make sure I don't take too much on. I need to set up a system. Yeah. So I can get back to equilibrium where my achiever strength is working in flow. It's working for me, not against me.